Welcome back to SGGT. Today we're going to look at Titleist with a lot of new product looming. Should it still be a consideration for next year? James?
Absolutely. It has to be part of the conversation for next year. Titleist have a 2-year product cycle for their drivers. It's only just recently come out, so it's very much going to be in the mix for 2025.
This is James. My name's Aaron. We are club fitters here at SGGT, and we're joined today by Carys. Carys, tell us a bit about your golf.
So +1 handicap. If I'm honest with you, I don't hit the ball very far. I hit it around 220 yards. My swing speed, I'd say, is 90-ish. And I've always wanted this low ball flight because I play a lot of links golf courses. It's always windy.
Yep.
So you need to keep it under the wind.
So what sort of driver do you play just now, Carys?
So I have the TaylorMade QI10, 10.5 degrees. I have a TPT 20 high nitro shaft, and then got #1 Japan grip.
And #1 Japan, perfect.
Yep.
Well, what we can do, we've got Tour Velvet 360s on all our clubs here in the Matrix. We can just blow off, change the grip over, and we can put your #1 on there. How would you like to try that?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Perfect. Here we go, Carys.
Brilliant, thank you, James. This is great just to be able to try different clubs with the grip that I'm used to.
Oh, definitely. Makes such a difference. The grip for us at SGGT is a real performance part of the golf club, and it makes a big, big difference. So if a grip is too thick or too thin, it's just not going to work. It's really great that we can chop and change grips so quickly.
It's your only point of contact with the club. It has to feel good.
Definitely.
What kind of ball do you use, Carys?
I use a Pro V1.
Pro V1, perfect.
Yeah,
That's what
always
we've got set
have.
up. That's what we've got set up here. So today we're going to test GT with Carys. James, do you want to run us through the heads?
Yeah, of course. So we have Titleist GT2, which is a little bit longer footprint, a little bit longer from front to back, and is the forgiving option in the 3 drivers.
GT3 is the next one. You've got a little weight track on there so you can dial in ball flight, but what we would expect from that is it's going to spin a little bit less than the GT2.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit more separation with that one this year as well,
Yep.
having weight be forward. We also have the Titleist GT4. The GT4 is the blade of the driver world. It's a little bit smaller front to back as well. It's that real classic pear shape. Not the most forgiving driver in the world, but it's absolutely an option that we can test.
So this is GT2, Carys. Why don't you give us a few shots for the Trackman?
Okay.
Firstly, how does this look down behind the ball to you?
So obviously, as we said, I'm used to the TaylorMade QI10. This looks quite similar to me. Doesn't look out of place. Because I know some drivers, you look down and you go, it looks too open. But this, straight on, I like the look of it.
Looks clean.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice shot.
Yeah.
And what does that ball flight look like to you, being a bit more of a links player?
Definitely a lower ball flight is something that I would benefit from.
Yeah.
The amount of times we play golf in Scotland, it's windy, it's wet. Got to keep the ball below.
Yeah. And the last thing you want to see hitting into the wind at Kilspindy is that ball just climbing up and up.
100%.
From a fitting point of view, if we take a quick peek at those numbers as well, on the right hand side of the screen, Trackman has an optimal feature, so it's based on a golfer's club head speed and their attack angle, so you're really riding the crest of the wave there, carrying 198 yards, finishing at 224 yards. Really nice shot.
Do you know, James, Aaron, I really like the idea of hitting out into the open range. You see the true ball flight.
Yeah.
Other custom fit places that I've been to, you're hitting indoors.
Yeah.
You don't get that benefit.
No, you hit into a net and you can only see so much. You're trusting that the software is good. Just being able to see that ball flight takes away that completely. It just gives you that trust.
And you can almost replicate that to going on the golf course. So when you are standing on that tee on the course, you have confidence.
Certainly from a fitter's point of view, being able to see that ball flight, it really lets us dial in. Do we need a little bit higher flight, a little bit lower ball flight, change the loft, and it's real.
How did that last one feel, Carys?
It felt really good.
Yeah?
Everything so far is nice. Just the sound of it, the ball coming off the face,
Good.
is
Money.
Yes.
Good.
I don't know what the right word was there.
Because from a strike perspective there, it was a touch higher on the face. That's the screen we can see there. It's still good. That kills a little bit of the spin, and if you're hitting into the wind, that's actually a better place to hit it. Take a bit of that spin away, and it just wants to travel forward. Give us a few more.
Nice shot.
It must get boring hitting a straight cast, does it not?
Consistency is key, and that's something I always look for.
Good swing. Couple more, please. And on the golf course, would you ever sort of manipulate ball flight, you know, draw and fade and things, or try and hit the ball really as straight as you can?
Definitely as straight as I can. I don't really like to mess with too many things.
Hit it, find it, and hit it again.
Yes, keep on the fairway.
He's obviously a very good golfer. You're playing lots of different golf courses, all mainly links, but you're playing a lot of different golf courses, so you need to be able to trust that ball flight.
Yeah.
Yep, good shot. Yep.
I felt very consistent, I must say, out of all those shots.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at the dispersion there, everything's just down that left-hand side, but it's all safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
James, what do you think GT3 would do?
I think it's going to spin a little bit less. So because Carys, you strike the ball fairly high in the face, you don't really get a whole lot of spin anyway. So my immediate concern with like a GT3 would be because the weight's a little bit further forward. If that spin number drops down too much, ball could maybe sort of drop out the sky a little bit faster. But we could maybe use a little bit more loft and skew that launch and spin a little bit more. Let's have we try GT3 and see what it does.
Perfect.
With the fitting matrix that we have at SGGT, our unique system, we're able to chop and change different shafts while still using manufacturer's own neck adapter. So if we need to tweak loft up or down a little bit, we can still get the benefit of doing that whilst using our own shafts as well. There's hundreds and hundreds of different shaft options.
We've got hundreds of shafts with different brands, different options, and we can dial in the exact same shaft into different manufacturers' heads. It gives us the biggest range in Scotland, maybe even the UK.
It's literally endless.
Yeah.
It's so freeing as a fitter to be able to change shafts and, you know, put in what you actually want to try in the first place, rather than having, you know, 3 or 4 different shafts.
So obviously here we're brand agnostic, so the brand that goes in, whatever driver it is, doesn't matter to us. It's performance that's king, isn't it, James?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So like the way that we do it, we buy head, shaft and grip all separate to one another, and that allows us to really fit anything to the individual golfer. Let's try GT3, Carys. Let's give it a blast.
What are the first impressions there behind the ball?
It looks different. To me, the head looks slightly smaller,
Yep.
but also feels more upright.
Okay, that's good feedback. Is that better? Is that worse, or is that just an observation?
It's just an observation. I don't like or dislike it.
Yeah, we'll see what the ball does.
What we saw with the GT2, there's a little bit of a left, there's a wee bit of a kind of left side preference. With the Titleist GT3, there's an adjustable weight track at the front. So if we maybe need to straighten that ball flight up a little bit more, we could nudge some weight towards the toe and just see a little bit straighter flight.
Because what weight is this set on to now?
It's set in the middle, it's set in the neutral position. So we've got room that we can go into T1 and T2, so it's toe 1, toe 2. And we can also go the other way. If a golfer's misses to the right-hand side, we can add weight to the heel in H1 and H2.
Just make it easier to square up, can't we?
Yeah, definitely.
One observation on that shot there, Carys. I mean, that wasn't a bad strike by any stretch. You hit similar shots with the GT2, but the ball speed on that one just dropped it dropped more than the GT2. You might just have a little bit more stability in that GT2 product.
Definitely felt there that I didn't swing it as fast. It definitely, it just didn't feel very quick.
Good. A little bit flatter, certainly.
Yeah, it's not as, doesn't feel like the trajectory is as high.
Yeah, comes out a little bit lower, a little bit flatter. Into the wind, arguably a little bit better,
Yes.
but can make it a little bit more volatile. How does this one compare to drivers you've had in the past before QI10, going back in your driver history?
So I've only ever been fitted for a TaylorMade M2. It was a driver that I've loved since the day I got it. But the time was coming to an end with it.
Cult classic though, M2.
Yes.
2016 was a long time ago.
You struggle to beat the original M2. I liked how consistent it was. It just felt nice. I felt like I could just get speed through it. But yes, I made the change to the QI10 earlier this year.
And do you notice a big old jump in ball speed as well?
If I'm honest, I couldn't have told you my ball speed with the M2. But I've definitely, what I did notice was I was carrying the ball further with the QI10, but my overall total distance was the same.
So if there's maybe a bunker on the golf course that you maybe couldn't carry before because ball flight is a little bit flatter, a bit more chasey, now you can carry over the top of that and maybe making your life easier.
100%. And I did notice as well that the trajectory on the QI10 was a lot lower than what I had when I had the M2.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Yeah, good swing. Good swing.
A little bit straight to this one as well.
There's a little bit less curvature there, isn't there?
Definitely a wee bit less. That was nice. Again, it's pretty optimal.
Optimal wave there.
Ride the crest of the wave. Yep, good shot.
Yeah.
And how do you feel that compares to GT2 we just tried a second ago?
I think the consistency of both is pretty similar, but I do prefer the trajectory of the GT3 to the GT2.
Yeah.
They don't feel too different to hit, although they look slightly different at address for me.
2 more, please.
Yeah, and the one thing Titleist are saying this year they're talking about the consistency of spin that's coming out across the face, and your strike's really good. There is going to be a little variance in strike location though. It's only natural. Even though you play off +1, you're still going to see that variance. We're not seeing that variance reflect in the spin on either product. GT2 is a little bit higher, GT3 is a little bit flatter as we'd expect, but it's really consistent. A little bit toey?
Yes.
Got away with that though.
It's still hitting a fairway,
Yeah.
which is key.
That's the answer, isn't it? That's, on a golf course, you're never asking for that back. You're putting your head cover back on and you're going to walk down the fairway.
As fitters, we both know that you've not quite got hold of that one, but you couldn't care less when you get down there. You've not lost it. You've not really lost anything. Lovely shot.
Felt like I got behind that one.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah.
Good club head speed, faster ball speed. Efficiency's gone up, and that's when you get that sort of pop off the face at the same time. That was lovely.
Taking what we've gone from in GT2 into GT3, I would expect to take that just a little bit further with GT4. Smaller profile. It'll be interesting to get your feedback on how it compares, even especially on looks.
Definitely. We've got 2 weights on GT4 as well, so there's a weight at the back, a weight at the front. Very much really designed for the player who were trying to kill spin. You're not that player. You don't really get a lot of spin in the first place.
Yeah.
So we could maybe expect this ball to just dip a little bit, but we'll soon see.
Your standard deviation, interestingly there, your standard deviation is almost identical from GT2 to GT3. It's just your average that differs.
That peak height's 6 feet lower there as well, which might not sound that much, but going from 69 feet with a GT2 to 63 feet with the GT3, if we're mindful of where you play golf and you're kind of looking for that little bit flatter trajectory, that's then fitting the bill.
Have I gained distance between heads at all?
You're carrying the GT2 further.
Okay.
So Trackman would like GT2 a little bit more because it carries a bit further. However, for where, like James said, we have to be mindful of where you play and what you actually want to see. That slightly flatter ball flight for where you play in your golf is probably going to yield a bit more distance.
And when Aaron says further, it's 2.5 yards further. Not that much. Let's give Poor a bit of a rip, see what happens.
For some reason, this head feels heavier than the 2 and the 3.
Yeah. It's not half bad though.
I wouldn't ask for that back. Wee bit shy on ball speed.
Yeah.
Peak height's kind of dropped down a wee bit more again.
You're only 8 millimeters away from the actual center of the club base there, and you've lost a little bit more ball speed, arguably, than in the other two.
And being like a little bit smaller kind of profile ahead, does it look intimidating at all when you put down behind the ball, or is it still looking quite nice?
It's still looking quite nice to me. Though I know I said at the start that I've never really liked the look of heads that sit open, whereas this one feels to me that it sits just slightly open.
Yeah.
Because I have a tendency in like my bad shot would be high and right.
Yeah.
So already standing at impact, I'm thinking, could this go?
Yeah. Could it move?
Yeah. I've noticed in all these different heads that there's these white stickers which are different to the standard lofts. Well, why are they there and what do they mean?
So we've got a digital loft. We've got a digital loft and lie machine. Every single club that goes into the matrix, we test everything. So we know the exact head weight, we know the exact head loft, and if there's any heads that come in that have significantly more or less lofts, you as a golfer, you can't then get the same end outcome, can you? So it's really, really important for us as fitters that what we have is absolutely bang on, and every single driver that comes in, we just need to make sure that it does what it says in the tin. If it has too much loft or not enough loft, it's just not going to fly properly. So it's just part of the, I suppose, quality control that comes in with the demo matrix. They all play their part, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Nice shot. A little bit higher launch in that last one. Wouldn't necessarily expect that, but
Touch slower as well, though, isn't it?
a wee bit.
Spin there is not a disaster. Again, with this one, you may just be that little bit more punished. We mentioned the GT3, it's carrying 2.5 yards further. At your level, those small margins make a difference. This is actually carrying about 3 or 4 yards shorter than that again, at 185. Give us a couple more, Carys.
I don't feel like I'm being as efficient with the GT4 as I have with the 2 and 3.
That's really fair. Really fair.
Is there maybe a little bit more work in the GT4?
Yes, it does feel like I'm having to give it something else. It's not as natural.
Yeah.
Give us one more. We'll give it one more chance.
So when we're looking at like low flat forward, there's a point low flat forward can't actually get that ball up in the air. So like peak height, if we compare back to the 2 and the 4 there, Aaron, we dropped around 10 feet. So 10 feet, it means, can you carry that bunker, or are you trying to sort of chase it past?
That one there dropping in at 52 feet is just, you're getting overly punished.
You can't top
You're
that.
getting overly punished, yeah. Better hit. Best of the bunch. Just a fraction left.
You've maybe kind of felt you've had to give it a bit more.
Exactly
in the
what I
air
was gonna say, yeah. Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Should we go back to GT3 for a couple more?
I think so, yeah. GT3 was lovely. Let's give it another blast. So, GT3, 10-degree driver, true loft on this one here is 9.9, which is perfect for us. But we're just going to tick it up just a little bit in the sleeve, just to see can we squeeze a little bit more out of it.
Titleist is fantastic in the way they've got a little matrix. So you've got 16 different options there to dial in that ball flight. And the fact that we can see where it's going outside means that we can trust it. We don't want to sacrifice anything with what we've done with the spin rate. The easiest way to influence spin is loft, but it'd be interesting to see how this actually reacts.
Okay.
Just a touch high on the face, popped up a little bit.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of the noise this is making.
Really?
Yeah, I much preferred the GT3 when I first tried it.
Yeah.
Without changing it.
Without changing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you maybe feel that when you put that down, it all of a sudden looks a little bit off, maybe you just don't need to go and chop and change things. Pass that back here. Let's put it back to the A1 setting. Back to the good setting here.
Thank you.
Right, that's nice.
Yeah, we can live with that.
Nice and quick off the face, bombs away. 195 in the air, finish at 219.
Started a little bit right. Normally you'd expect to see that spin up a little bit, but it's not wavered at all.
Straight off, that felt so much better than the last 2 shots I just hit.
And how did that trajectory look like for you?
It felt like a wee bit high, but it's something that I would still prefer on the golf course.
Still quite a flat trajectory, it's just
Yes.
up a little bit.
And that's just that one a little bit higher on the face. You're not being overly punished for it. It's not your best hit, but
Nope.
I mean, you walk down the fairway for that one. You're okay. You lose a little bit of distance, but we've all done that shot, haven't we?
And on the golf course, would you ever give it any more power? Would you ever try and overreach sometimes?
I try not to, because I sometimes think that's when things can just go a bit
Stay in
wayward.
control,
Yes.
It's always quite interesting to see some golfers have got more tucked away in the locker that they might not know is there. Let's go into having a bit of a blast. What happens with this one here?
Okay.
Light was nice. Oh. Clocked iron straight in the nose. So a little bit more club head speed, a little bit more ball speed. Carry goes up and total goes up, but like the ball flight didn't really vary any at all.
No.
There was very little deviation. So it's maybe one of these things that when you're practicing, if you felt you jumped on that a little bit more, nothing went wrong and it was worth more yardage straight away. So it's definitely maybe one of these things to have a think about when you're practicing, just giving it a blast sometimes and making sure it holds up.
Yeah.
Carys, does it feel like we're getting closer to that answer?
100%. That GT4 ruled out, not for me. GT2 was lovely, but I feel like I'm more consistent, the ball flight's lower. Everything about the GT3 is just so much better for me.
Yeah, you've nailed it. Yeah. Give us one more.
Down the left-hand side, buddy, please.
Yeah, you're not in too much bother there. And that's part of it. We need to understand what the bad ones are going to do, because you play off +1, you're still going to hit poor drives. Your strike's still going to be a little bit inconsistent. But we need to know exactly what they're going to do. And that one's on the golf course still plays. Yeah, smashed it. I like this. GT3. Yes. GT3 seems to be the answer, James, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Really solid.
So, Carys, with all the new kit coming out, would you still consider Titleist for 2025?
100%. As I said before, I've never really been fitted for a Titleist driver. It's not been for me, but I really, really like this one.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see how the GT3 compares to the new products coming out in the new year. But yeah, definitely one to consider.
Good. Excellent.
Perfect. I think having that GT2, 3 and 4, as we've kind of seen, like they all do slightly different things. They're all aimed at like slightly different golfers. I think there's definitely a Titleist driver for everyone in the matrix to test and see, can we squeeze?
There definitely is. So one of the things we like to do here at SGGT, our own club builder, long drive driver, Harry over here, is going to have a go.
Yeah, we'll take this driver and see how far I can hit it. GT3 8 degree, TPT, nitro, 21, 20 high. We'll give it a shot.
Harry, that shaft's a bit too soft, so what we're going to do, we're just going to swap it out for something that's a little bit firmer.
Yeah.
What are you picking out?
Maybe try, what could we try? What's similar to what I normally use? Let's try that. 14 low in the nitro. So,
Thank you.
So the way TPT works, the way they're numbered, the higher the number, the lighter the shaft is going to be. So we're going from a 20 into a 14. So it's going to play a little bit stiffer, a bit more appropriate for Harry's speed.
it feels better already. Just about here, guys.
Yep, just there, please.
Perfect.
There he is, 182 ball speed.
Get in there.
Monster. 338.
That's better.
There she goes.
What?
Don't overspin.
183.6. 125 club head speed.
Just a tickle to 347 yards.
Not bad, is it?
That'll be all right.
You take that on the golf course.
I would.
Good hit. Good hit.
Here's another one.
Oh, it's nailed.
185. There she is.
Not asking for that one back away. Beast.
345.
Not bad at all, Harry. There we go. Fantastic. Thanks very much for hitting that driver for us.
Thank you.
Harry is one of our builders here at SGGT. So not only does he hit the ball really quite a long way, he is one of the guys responsible for building all your golf clubs.
And if you want to book your Titleist fitting here with us, get on at the range, just go to www.sggt.co.uk. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.